Hi, my name is Kevin Retcher. I'm here with Ron Leffler of Ron Leffler Real Estate. And one of the great things that Ron does is he will buy a house and fix it up and turn it into affordable housing for Fairfax County, which is rare and much needed. So walk me through a little bit about what you do, Ron.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Kevin. So what we have behind us is Fixer Upper. It is part of an estate. It was passed down and it's kind of been abandoned now for a few years. We've had some issues with break-ins and things like that. It's kind of bothering the neighbors. So they finally decided to sell it. We gave them the options of how to sell it, whether they wanted to sell it as is or if they wanted to put some money into it to put it on the market. And the owner chose to sell it as is, direct to myself. And so that's what we're going to do now. We're going to buy it and do a big renovation to it and then put it back on the market, in a short amount of time.
So one of the things, how much time will that take?
Well, it all depends on how lucky or unlucky we are, but usually they go from 2 to 4 months, roughly.
Ron, go into some of the services that you provide families when they get a house such as this and someone has passed and may have a lot of stuff in the house and needs fixed up and needs to be sold. What kind of services do you provide on that?
Well, we have a little bit of an approach, and the approach is hands off. Hands off. A lot of times, especially with estates or somebody who's having some type of medical issues or just they have their priorities elsewhere, and we like to come in and assist them, and we can do everything for them. I deal a lot with estates, so it's been passed down. Oftentimes the heirs are not even local, they're out of state or out of country, and effectively I tell them, give me the keys and we'll take care of it. The we'll take care of it part is we develop a plan as to what needs to be done, either with personal property that's in the house itself, work that needs to be done, repairs that have to be done, and we manage the process. And then once it's done, put it on the market to sell for more than they would have if they did nothing or very little. So hands off for the owner, for the seller, hands on for me and my team.
Yeah, so in many cases, that's getting rid of a lot of old possessions that no one in the family might want, and then fixing up the property to try to get the optimal dollar amount out of the sale, correct?
Exactly. Dealing with the personal property, the stuff, can be really, really challenging because some of the items are very important to the family.
Emotional attachments.
Absolutely. And you want to make sure that those are gone through, you have the appropriate amount of time to do it, that it goes to them. I mean, sometimes we have to, document it, send them videos. Hey, this is everything that's here, especially if they're out of state. What would you like? Pack it up, send it to them so that they have those memories. Because it's really important. There's no dollar amount attached to any of that, but it is an important part of the process. Otherwise, if there are things that you don't want anymore and they're valuable, we can arrange for things to be sold. If it's a lot of stuff, estate sales, that's a good avenue, or we can do auctions, donations. There's a variety of things. Of course, anything that's left over, we have to haul it out of here. And a bunch of ways to do that. You can have guys come in and load it onto trucks or dumpsters. Plenty of ways to deal with all of the stuff issues.
And you have teams of people that you've used on a regular basis that helps you with this?
Absolutely. And everyone has their own lane, something that they're very, very good at. We don't have one provider that does everything, but there are very specific people who have niches, and we try to plug them in if it makes sense to do that.
And knowing you, in some of these cases, you're dealing with some of these families potentially for a couple years before they make decisions. Explain this particular house, for example.
It's not uncommon for properties to sit vacant and for years and multiple years. And a lot of that is due to the fact that there's a certain amount of pain that comes with dealing with the property, especially if it's out of state, right? Like out of sight, out of mind, out of state, out of mind. They pay the associated costs with it, and it just keeps going, because they're oftentimes people are apprehensive or nervous, or they just don't know where to start. It's just seen as such a difficult project that they just end up doing nothing.
Would you say that procrastination actually costs them more money over time?
Of course. I mean, vacant houses are ticking time bombs. So all types of bad things happen to houses. The difference is, if you're there, you can observe them and fix them right away, right? Number one issue, water problems. They got busted pipes in the wintertime, or just in general. Or you have, from storms, water intrusion. It's coming, in the basement, it's coming under doors, the roof is leaking, you have branches that fall in the house and nobody knows, all causing water damage. And if you don't fix water damage right away, it turns into an environmental issue inside the house. And if you let that go for a week, it's a disaster. So vacant houses are really, really difficult, really challenging, especially if you don't have somebody watching out for them. But yes, I mean, the sooner the better, at least to get somebody to manage it and make sure that the property is in good condition and is regularly checked up on. Sometimes it's just a neighbor that goes by that you trust. And sometimes maybe you have to have a property management company or something like that. But in the end, if the desire is to sell it, it's best to do that as soon as possible before something happens.
So it takes a certain type of person to enjoy doing this type of work and having patience. Explain how you got into doing this exactly, because this is not a normal real estate agent type of exercise.
No, it's not. And the reason is because it's hard. It's very, very difficult. There are so many different things that could go wrong, and it's a lot of time and dedication. The number of visits that we have to take to the property, dozens and dozens of times, sometimes as silly as turning off the water, or, just checking to make sure that everything's okay after a big storm, to, sitting with people and making sure that, their possessions are going where they belong, and everyone is happy, that nothing bad is happening. And I haven't even mentioned the real estate stuff, the selling it part of it, because that's really kind of even separate. And the reason I got into it is because I just found that there are certain situations where there's no one else that provides this service. And the people who need it, they really need it, because they don't have the time, they don't have the energy, they don't have the bandwidth or whatever to deal with it. And so their options are more limited, and they end up making decisions that could be bad decisions because they felt like they had no option. And I really enjoy getting somebody from A to Z in making their life as easy as possible doing it. I mean, that's the value add, is this is my lane and we're pretty good at it. You stay where you want to be, doing what you want to do, whether that's work or family or retirement, vacation, whatever. We'll do our thing. You do your thing. We'll check in every once in a while, make sure everything's going well, and just leave it up to us. And at the end, that's the part that I really enjoy. When you look back and you say, look how far we've come with this house and with this sale, and it's a good feeling that nobody can take away.
All right. With that said, walk me through this house. Again, my name's Kevin Retcher, First Meridian Mortgage, and we're going to be going through this process with Ron, going through his fixer upper and flipping it. And so I don't know how many videos it's going to be, but if you want to check out whether we're lucky or unlucky when we go in the house, check out the next video and see what we're getting into. I'll talk to you soon.